it become 2. So next time when you are in the loop, I will be checked for is it less than 3. So for example, now you have eaten first roti and then now you are going for second. So again the loop variable will be checked for is I less than equal to 3. So the value of I is 2. So is 2 less than equal to 3. So it means that the body of the loop will keep on getting executed till this termination condition is met. Okay, so as soon as this termination condition gets unsatisfied or becomes false, the loop will come to halt. The loop will terminate. Okay, so what is the need of or what is the purpose of a loop? Loop is when you are want to repeat a certain piece of code several times. So if you want to execute a line of code several times, a set of code several times, you put it inside the loop, right? So why do we need loop? So loop will tell a program to perform a set of instructions again and again. Okay, till the specified condition is achieved. Okay, so as soon as the condition or the objective is met, that loop is terminated and then you come out of the loop. See, there are other ways to come out of the loop that we will discuss later. But as of now, the loop control is dependent upon the termination condition, right? So I hope you are able to understand what is the ideology behind executing a loop statement. Okay. So now there are basically two types of loops in C language. First is called an entry control loop and second is called the exit control loop. Okay. So what is entry control loop? Entry control loop means the test condition is checked first before entering the main body of the loop. So if your test condition is checked, then only you can enter the body of the loop, right? So when you are entering the body of the loop, you will check the condition first. So there are two types of loops which fall under this category, for loop and while loop. So for loop and while loop both are entry control loop. Okay, first you check the condition, then only the loop will run. In exit control loop, you execute the statement first and then check the condition. So the minimum number of times the loop body will execute is 1. So it will at least execute once, even if the condition is false. So when you are being too much hospitable, then in that case, people ask that even if you are not hungry, at least eat one roti. Okay, there are some people who are more polite in that way that they will tell you that you eat one roti at least. If you have come to my house for having lunch, at least eat one roti. Okay, even if you are not hungry. So that is a condition called exit control loop, means you are executing the statement first and then later on you will test the condition. So even if you are not hungry, you are being served one roti. But in the other cases, entry control loop, first the condition is checked. Condition is checked. Okay. So if you say you are not hungry, you will not be served. So that is called entry control loop. Means the loop will only execute if the condition is fulfilled. Okay. So for example, you are running the loop for I less than equal to 3. So it will first of all check the condition. Okay, so if you started with 0 and if i's value is less than 3, then only it will continue inside the loop. If it is an entry control loop, but this condition will be checked afterwards in case of exit control loop. We will see it through a flow chart. Okay, so when it comes to characteristics of loop statements, when we talk about for loop, so in for loop, the like initial values performed only once, and then the test conditions, and then we compare the counter. So if you look at the structure of a for statement, the for statement is like this. So here there is a initialization counter, and then here is increment or decrement. Okay, so this is the structure of a for loop. In case of while loop, what we do is we split these three statements differently. So in while loop, what happens? We initialize the counter at the top. So initialization is done first. Then you write the condition in bracket, the curly brace, and in this curly brace, you mention increment and decrement. Okay, so this is how we split in case of while loop. So while loop, the condition is evaluated before processing a body of the loop. If the condition is true, then only the body of the loop is executed. So every time this condition is checked when you are like iterating inside the loop. In case of do while, what happens? You write whatever statement you want to execute inside the loop in do block. And then you write while and put your condition, and then you put semicolon. Okay. So here inside the do block, you will write all those statements which you want to execute in the loop. So these statements will be executed irrespective of what this condition is. If this condition is true, then only then you will execute the statement. Even if it is false, it will execute once. Okay, so the minimum number of times the do while loop will work is 1. But the minimum number of times the for and while loop will work is 0. Because as soon as you test the condition and if this condition turns out to be false, you will not even enter inside the loop. Okay, it's like asking a person before if he is hungry or not before you serve roti. Okay, so if let's say if you go to a house for lunch and then right at the beginning you declare that you are not hungry, they will ask whether you are hungry or not. As soon as you say that I'm not hungry, they will not even ask for lunch. Okay, so that is called an entry control loop. Means the condition is checked first and then only you will go inside the loop. But in case of do while loop, what happens? You go into your house and then no one is going to ask you anything. You will be served one roti. After that eating one roti, now you can declare whether you still want more rotis or you are done with. Okay, so that is an example of an exit control loop. Means, and in case of exit control loop, you execute this set of statement once. So that is a do while state. Okay, so let's come to for loop. So in for loop, what you do, as I mentioned, that it is a loop or a repetition control structure, and loop is a entry controlled loop. It is an entry controlled loop. Okay. So what is the structure of loop? You initialize the expression, you test the expression, and you update the expression. In between that, you put semicolons. Okay. So here you put semicolons. But let's say if these are optional also. Means all these statements are optional. For example, if I write for semicolon, semicolon, and then I run inside the loop. So here, if I write such a structure, it is infinite loop because I am not going to initialize anything. I am not going to test anything. I am not going to update the expression. I will execute this loop irrespective of any condition. So that is an infinite loop and it will go on forever. Okay. Or you can omit the statement and make it look like a while loop. So here you can initialize a counter, put semicolon directly, then you can test the condition and then you can put this increment inside the loop. So if you do that, the for becomes while. For is basically a keyword in C language. Okay. So for is a keyword in C language. Okay, so we initialize the loop variable. You test the expression I less than equal to 3. So it is a relational expression which returns a Boolean value. And then you update the expression like increment or decrement. So if you start with a larger value and then you go towards a smaller value, then you will perhaps write like this. Okay. So this is how for loop is structured. So if you get the flowchart of the for loop, what we can see here that you start and then you initialize the expression, then you test the condition. Test the condition can be either true or false. Now you are testing the condition beforehand. If it is true, then only you will execute some block of statement and update the expression, and then it goes inside the loop. So it's a cycle right here. I hope I'm audible. Hello. I hope I'm audible. Okay. Okay. So if the test condition becomes false, then uh, you will come out of the loop quickly. You will come out of the loop without any doubt. So here there is an example. Here if false. Okay. So if sorry, it starts with this statement, right? So we start with this statement. Let me clean the board first. So here we have got a loop here for initialization, then condition, and then updation. So what is the first step? First step is to look to the initialization. Let's say initialization is I is equal to 1. So this is initialization. Now what is the second step? Check the condition. So let's say check the condition means I is less than equal to 3. Then put a semicolon, then updation. What is updation? I plus plus. Okay. So condition is checked. If condition is met, then what is the next step? You don't do increment now. This is not happening right now. So you initialize, you check the condition, and as soon as the condition is true, what will be your step? You start executing the body of the loop. So once the body of the loop is executed, now what is the next step? You update the expression. So let's say you update the expression like I plus plus. Once you update the expression, again what you do is you check the condition. Again it is true. Again you will execute the statement. So previously I was 1, you executed the loop, so I became 2. So is 2 less than equal to 3? Yes. Again, you will do the same thing. You will again execute the set of loops. Now what will happen? Again, you will update the expression. I will become 3. Again, you will check the condition. Okay. So for 3 also, I is less than equal to 3. I is equal to 3 now. So you will execute the statement again. Come out of the loop and then again do updation. So I becomes now 4. So when it becomes 4, now I is not less than equal to 3. I is greater than 3. So in that case, the condition becomes false. As soon as the condition becomes false, you take the other path and come out of the loop. So your loop is terminated because you have met the termination condition. So this is how the flow of the loop works. Okay. This is how the for loop works. So this is an example of a for loop which prints hello world 10 times. So let's understand how it works. So first of all, we have declared an integer variable I and we have initialized it to 0. So the value of I is what? 0. Now what we do is we assign I as 1. Now you check the condition. Is I less than equal to 10? Yes, 1 is less than equal to 10. So what you will do? You will print hello world. Okay, so we have printed hello world. Now what? I will be incremented with 1. So I has become 2 now. Again, you check the condition. Is I is 2 less than equal to 10? Yes. 2 is less than equal to 10. Again, print hello world. Okay. Again, you increment the value of I. I becomes 3 now. Now again, check 3 less than equal to 10. Again, print hello world. Likewise, you will continue checking the condition and incrementing the value. After printing 8 values, it will become 9. So I is equal to 9. So 9 is less than equal to 10. Yes, it will print the hello world. So now I will become 10. Okay. So is 10 less than equal to 10? Yes, less than equal to 10 means it is less than or equal to. So 10 is equal to 10. So it will print hello world for the 10th time. And then it will increment I as 11. So I will become 11 and now it will be, the condition is again verified. Is 11 less than equal to 10? No, 11 is greater than 10. So in that case, you will come out of the loop. And by doing that, you would have already printed hello world 10 times, right? So this is a simple program for printing hello world 10 times. Okay. Students are saying my voice is not clear. Is it the case? I hope my voice is clear. Can anyone else verify? Okay, it's clear. So now, coming to the other type of loop, the other loop is called while loop. So while loop is like for loop only, but it's just we have splitted the statements in the bottom or at the top. So in the while loop, we have already initialized the loop variable. So the initialization has already been done. And then we have started with while loop. Then we will check the condition. So the construct of while loop is like this. So in the while loop, the test expression is kept only. Okay. Now what about initialization and increment decrement? Initialization is done above the loop statement. Okay. So before you start with while loop, you have to ensure that initialization expression has already been done. So now let's say you have a loop like this in for loop. For I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 3, and I plus plus. And you are doing something inside the loop. Now if you want to change it into a while loop, if you want to convert the for loop into while loop, what will you do? You will write like this. First you will initialize the expression. Then you will write I is equal to 1 you have written. Then you will write while I is less than equal to 3. Only the condition part is written in the while. And then you will start with your curly braces block. And then whatever statement you want to execute, like these statements are there. And then at the end, you will write I plus plus. Okay, so you are doing incrementing or decrementing whatever you want inside the body of the loop. So inside the body of the while loop, we have got the update expression, which was in case of for loop be a part of the same argument in the for. Okay, but in while, only argument that you will pass is condition. So while is again a keyword. For is a keyword, while is a keyword. Okay, both are entry control block. Means the condition will be tested first and then you will be allowed entry inside the loop body. So this cycle works like this. So you will continue executing the loop till your condition is met. As soon as your condition turns out to be false, you will come out of the loop. Okay, so you can modify the previous example with a while loop. So this program is also intended to print some loops. Okay, so how many values it is supposed to print? Let's say you have initialized the value as 2, I is 2, so you have initialized here. Now the body of the 10 will check the condition is I less than 10, means it will print from 2 till 9, because 9 is the last value which is less than 10. So how many values it would have print from 2 to 9? How many values are there? 8 values are there. Okay, so it will print hello world 8 times. Why? because from it will start with counting from 2 and it will reach up to 9, the last value which is less than 10. Okay. So, and in every iteration, in every repetition of the loop, you are going to increment the counter variable, the loop variable as I plus plus. Means you will increment it by 1. It is not necessary that you have to increment only by 1. It depends upon what you want to do. Okay. So if you want to have I is equal to I plus 2, then also you can do that. Okay. So the amount of steps you want to take while you are executing of the loop can also be greater than 1. It is not necessary that you only increment by 1 or decrement by 1. So if you decide to increment by 2 or increment by 4, increment by 3, you can do that. So in that case, you can write I plus is equal to 2. Okay. So this is called shorthand expression. So it means I is equal to I plus 2. So as you can see the output, it has print hello world 8 times. It started with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then last value is 9. So as soon as your I value reached 9, it will increment it and make it 10. And it will check is 10 less than 10. So 10 is not less than 10. So since 10 is not less than 10, it is not going to allow you an entry inside the loop. It will make you come out of the loop. Okay. So I hope this while loop is clear to you. The other type of loop, as I have already discussed, is an exit control loop. So in case of exit control loop, we execute the body of the loop at least once, and then we check the test condition. So here the loop is created, no doubt, but you have to execute the body at least once because you have written the body inside the do block. So the do block will contain the statements which you want to execute inside a loop. And then after executing for once, it will check the test condition. So the test expression is written outside the do block, and then it is terminated by a semicolon. And what about update? Update is done inside the do block. And what about initialization? Initialization is done above the do block, like in case of while. So after initialization, you write do block. Inside do block, you put update. And then after do block is over, you write your test condition with a while. Okay. So, but next time it will check the condition. As it after executing the loop body once, it will check the condition. And then it will execute the loop. So the minimum number of time it gets executed is 1. But about for and while, the minimum number of times they get executed is 0. Okay. So right at the beginning, your condition is false. Then for loop and while loop are not going to allow you an entry inside the loop body. But in case of do while loop, irrespective of your test condition being true or false, you will be given a free pass in the loop body once. But next time onwards, it will check the conditions. So the minimum number of time the do while loop will run is 1. So here there is a quick example for do while loop. So here our initialization expression has initialized I as 2. So I is 2. Okay. Now it will say hello world. So you entered inside the do block. In do block, it is printing hello world. So it will print hello world. Now it is incrementing I as 1. I by 1. So 2 will become 3 now. Now it will check for I less than 1. Is 3 less than 1? Is 3 less than 1? No, 3 is not less than 1. So it will immediately take you out of the loop. But by then, still it has already printed hello world once. So it is executed once, irrespective of your 3 being less than 1, 3 being greater than 1, it has executed. It was supposed to run for I less than 1. But since 3 is not less than 1, even then the loop has executed once. Okay, even if you make it 1, even if you have written I is equal to 1, the output of this will be done once. Okay, even if you make it 0, then also I plus plus will make it 1, and I 1 is not less than 1. Okay, right? So I hope you are able to understand all these loop constructs. Now we come to unconditional branching statements, or loop statements, which allow you some loop control. So loop control is, there are three statements in loop control: go to statement, continue statement, and break statement. So as you can see, all are control statements, so they are unconditional. Okay. So go to statement, as you can say that, let's say your parent tells you to go to a particular place. You will not ask anything. Neither your parent will specify why you are supposed to go there. If you are an obedient kid, you will not ask questions. Okay. So that is an unconditional jump. Means you will not question why you are being asked to go to a particular line number. In program, if you write a go to and then put a line number here or a label here, the compiler will not ask you why I should go. It has to go because go to statement is there. But the problem is go to statement is providing unconditional jumps. So programmatically speaking, logically speaking, it is not recommended. It is not advisable, because if anyone else reads the program, then he will not be able to like understand and appreciate why the control suddenly got transferred to the other line number. So programming becomes very hard, program becomes very hard to understand. So using this statement is discouraged. Means it hampers the understandability of the program. No one, and if anyone wants to modify the code later on, it will become very difficult. Okay. So, but since goto is a keyword, we should know how to work with it. So here you write goto and then label. What is label? Label is any value which you assign to a particular line number. So for example, if you write a line number like this, x, and then you write I is equal to 1. Okay. And then you write here go to x. So what is x here? X is a label. How do you write label? Label is written and then you put a colon sign and then you write your state. Okay. So you write here go to and then label. So if you have written this statement below, it will go below. If you have written statement above go to, it will go above. It will not ask questions. There is no condition specified why I should go. If go to is written, no questions asked, go to that label. But is it readable? Is it understandable? Is it logical? The answer is no. It is not logical, and it is very difficult for the other person to understand the reason why you were asked to go to a statement, because you haven't specified any condition here. So it is not a conditional jump, it is an unconditional jump. Without specifying any reason, without specifying any condition, you are making the control move places. Okay. So this is how we use go to statement. So here there is an example which demonstrates go to statements usage. So let's see what we have done here. So we have declared a variable x as 10, and then we have put this entire do block, okay, this do block, and then labeled this do loop do block as loop. So I have named this do block as loop. In this do block, what I'm doing, we have put a condition if x is equal to 15. Then what you will do? You will do x is equal to x plus 1 and then go to the loop. Okay. So here I'm not going to execute the loop body. So this loop body will not get executed if x is equal to 15. I will have to skip the loop, skip the iteration, and revisit the loop statement, the loop label. Okay. But if x is not equal to 15, I am going to bypass this entire if block and move later down uh, the do block, which says print this statement, the value of the variable x is whatever, and then x plus plus. Okay. And you have to do this till, sorry, this is not a, this is x. X is less than 20. I have to do this business till x is less than 20. Got it? So here I have to start with 10. So x is equal to 10, right? So are we ready for the dry run? How it will run? So what is the initial value of x? X is 10, right? Now what you will do inside the loop body? Test, is 10 equal to 15? No. Then in that case, I'm going to print the value of the variable x is 10. So I printed it 10. I will now increment it by 1. So 10 will become 11. Now I will check the condition. Is 11 less than 20? Yes, of course. Again, go back to the do block. Then check 11 is equal to 15. No. Print variable x, x11. Fine. Then again, check for 12. Increment, make it 13. Increment, make it 14. Increment. Now it becomes 15. So as soon as x becomes 15, I have to go inside this if condition. In this if condition, x will be incremented to 16. So 15 becomes 16 and then go to loop. Go to loop means again re-execute the do body. So do body is in a starting point I have to go and then check for is 16 equal to 15? No. Then do the regular business till the value of x reaches 19. As soon as becomes 19, it will print the value of the variable as 19 and it will be incremented made 20. But in case of 20, what will happen? It is no longer less than 20. So it will come out of the loop. Okay. So it will print this value. Is it clear? Are you able to understand that what happened due to this go to statement here? It has made you skip the do block iteration. Right? So I hope you were able to understand this program. Now, in case of break statement, what do we do? In case of break statement, what do we do? So break statement will make you terminate immediately any loop. Okay. Uh, like for example, someone is eating lunch and you are in middle of the loop. Let's say it started with one chapati and then you are going for three chapatis, but suddenly you had you have to attend a phone call and that sounds very, very urgent. So what you will ask your host that stop, the roti is coming. I have got some work to do. So my lunch is over. I am going out. So between the termination, between the loop is going on. If you want to come out of the loop, what you will do is you will execute the break statement. So by writing a break statement, you can terminate, you can come out of the loop no matter where you are. And I think we have already used break statement in switch case. So in switch, as soon as you executed a certain case, you had to come out of the switch construct. So inside the switch construct, if you write a break statement for every case, as soon as the case gets executed, no need to check for other cases, right? So break statement we have already seen in switch statement. Okay. So let's see a quick example of break statement. In break statement here, we have initialized x as 20. Now in the loop, we are writing while x is less than 40, and then available value of x is this 20, whatever value of x is there, you will increment x, and then if x is greater than 30, you will break. Okay, if x is greater than 30, you will break. And then as soon as you break, you will come out of the while loop. So here x is 20. Is 20 less than 40? Yes. So 20 less than 20, it will print here. I think this loop construct will be 25, not 30. So as soon as the value of x is 25 is reached, it will come out of the loop because of the break. So break will make you come out of the loop even if your loop was supposed to run till 39. Your loop was supposed to run till 39, but since the condition in the inside the if condition, there was a break statement written and x was greater than 25. So as soon as your value of x becomes 26, you have to break. Okay, as soon as your value of x becomes 26, you will break. Till 25, it will run fine. Okay. In continue statement, what happens? In continue, we can skip the iteration. Break statement means will terminate the loop. But if you want to skip any iteration or go to the next iteration, you can use continue statement. So continue statement, for example, you are watching a movie with your friends, and then suddenly during the movie you had a phone, you had a call in your phone. Your friends are still watching movie, then you went out with your phone, you talked to the person, you came back, and then you ask your friends to continue watching the movie. You will see what they are seeing. Okay, you don't will ask your friends to rewind the movie, for instance, where you left. Not nothing to. What you will tell them? Continue, please continue. Okay, continue. Let's watch it again. Let's watch it from what you are watching. Means if I skipped any scenes or if I skipped some part of the movie, no matter, I will go to the next iteration. So it is called continue. So continue means you will skip the iteration and go to the next iteration. Okay, so it's like that. So continue statement means the execution of the condition will increment portions will be executed. So it will increment the loop construct. So let's look at an example of continue statement. X is 10. Inside the do block, x is equal to 15, and then x is equal to x plus 1, and then continue. I have written. So in continue, what I will do is I will increment the value of x and then continue the do block with the newly updated value of x. So x is 10, it will print 10. Okay. Inside the do block, there are other statement also, right? It's like go to statement example. So it will print the value of x and then x plus plus. So first value of x is 10. So it will print 10. The next value of x is 11. It will print 11, 12, 13, and 14. And after 14, it will increment and make it 15. As soon as x becomes 15, 15 is equal to 15. Yes. So now what will you do with x? Increment it. 16. And what about iteration? Continue. So continue means continue with newly updated value of x. So it will print the value of a is 16 and then increment it. And this will go on till it reaches 20. Okay, so in continue, we are not going to bother with the current value of iteration. Rather, we would skip the iteration. Okay, so let's do some practice problems here. Tell me what outputs you are getting. Okay. So here we have got a variable being assigned as 5, and we will check if 5 is greater than 0 for num greater than 0. We have to inside the while loop, there is a condition for num is equal to 3, and then we will break it. Okay, since there is no curly braces inside this if block will only contain one statement. The remaining statement is part of the regular loop that you are going to print the number value, and you will decrement it. So for the first value of num is 5, check the condition, is 5 greater than 0? Yes. Is 5 equal to 3? No, no breaking. Print the value of 5. 5 is printed. Okay, 5 is printed. 5 is printed. Then num is decremented. So num becomes 4 now. We will check again. Is 4 greater than 0? Yes. Is 4 equal to 3? No. Then we will print 4. Print 4. Print 4. Okay. Print 4. Now what happens? 4 num minus minus. Again, now 4 becomes 3. Is 3 greater than 0? Yes. Is 3 equal to 3? Yes. Is 3 equal to 3? Break. So break means only 5 and 4 are printed. Okay. Is this example clear to you? Now what about this example? You can explain example in this what we are doing. We have variable as nb as 7 is while this nb is greater than 0, decrement the value, and then if nb is equal to 5, continue. Okay, so we initialize with 7. Is 7 greater than 0? Yes. Decrement it. Okay, now 7 becomes 6. Is 6 equal to 5? No. Print nb. So we have printed 6. 6 is printed. Now check, is 6 greater than 0? Yes. Decrement it. 6 becomes 5. Is 5 equal to 5? Continue. Okay, continue means again go to the iteration. If I write continue here, I will not going to execute the statement below inside the loop. So 5 will not be printed. 5 will not be printed because the statement is written this below continue. So continue will skip this iteration, what we had to do. And then now we'll check, is 5 greater than 0? Yes. Decrement it. So 5 becomes 4, and then do the regular business. Now you are not going to enter inside the loop, inside this condition again, because NB is now never going to be 5. Right? Is this example clear to you? Okay. Hopefully this example is clear to everyone. Okay. Some students are paying attention, others I'm not sure of. All right. So the summary of the loop control statement is, we have seen goto statement. Goto transfers the control to any labeled statement. It is necessary to have the label for using goto. Continue statement will skip the iteration and the remainder present in the body and retest its actual condition. And break will ultimately terminate the statement switch. Either it is switch or loop statement, whatever, wherever we write break, it will terminate it. Now we come to array introduction. Okay, so what are arrays? Arrays contain a collection of similar data type values inside contiguous memory location. So let me visualize the scenario here. So here we have to understand that memory contains a collection of memory locations. Okay, memory is nothing but a collection of memory locations. So let's say this is your RAM, random access memory, or we call it main memory, and these are all memory locations. So these memory locations are like adjacent to each other. They are just after each other. So such are known as contiguous. Contiguous means they are having shared boundary. So the boundary is shared. For example, you live inside house and the two rooms share a common wall. So these rooms will be called as contiguous. So contiguous means they are having a shared boundary. Okay. Continuous means they may or may not have shared boundary. Okay, but contiguous means they are having a shared boundary. So this is, let's say, memory location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we store values inside array, all the elements of an array are stored in contiguous memory locations. Right? For example, you go to a marriage and then you have been asked to stay in a hotel. Okay. So how does the family stay in hotel? Are they given rooms anywhere? Mostly not. So they live in adjacent rooms. For example, in room number 301, family A is living. For example, in 302, family B is living. For example, 303, family C is living. So all these are stored in contiguous memory locations. Or you can visualize train compartments. So array is more like a train. Okay. So inside trains, the coaches are present. Okay. So coaches are placed side by side. Right. So what happens in that the array will contain the values having same data type. For example, you can have an integer array. So integer array means all the values inside this array are integer values. Okay, you can have float array. Float array means all the values stored inside this array are float data type. Similarly, you can have character array. So character array is also known as string. Okay. So if you store A, B, C, D, so all you are storing is character in every memory location. So then it becomes a character array. So an array is a derived data type. Okay. It is a derived data type because it is derived from the primitive data type. Right. It can store values of from the primitive data types. Okay. So that is why they are known as derived data types. How do you access every single value? Let's say you are being asked to call family B. Okay, there is some ceremony during the marriage, and suddenly a family B is required for that ceremony. So, how will you ask the reception area? Does the reception person know the names or they know room numbers better? What do you think? So they know room numbers better. Okay, you will ask the receptionist to call the family which is present in room number 302 for a certain ceremony. Okay, so they will call, okay, room number 302, you are being invited for this ceremony. So how they are accessing that particular value with their index. So the memory location works as the index. So index start in array from 0. So you start counting your room numbers from 0. And then you can continue going till the maximum length of array. So let's say you want to store 10 families. So the last value, if you start counting from 0, the last value will be 9. So you will count from 0 and you will count up till 9. So what are 0, 1, 2, 3 now? These are known as index numbers. Okay, so they are known as the index numbers. So index numbers are used to access any element inside the array. So every family which is living in these rooms is called an element, and every room number is called index. Okay, so every room number is called index. Is it clear? I hope you are able to understand the concept of array. So array contains same type of data. So we can call it homogeneous collection. So it is a homogeneous collection of data. Homogeneous means different, only the same data type values can be stored. If, okay, so there are certain data structures which are capable of storing different data types, but right now we are not going into that. So array is a homogeneous collection. Homogeneous collection means all the values which you are storing are of the same data type. You cannot have an integer array storing float values. You cannot have float array storing integer values. It is not possible. Okay. You can also create arrays of pointers. You can also create arrays of other structures or other user defined data types. So why do we need array? Why do we need array? Because it is easier. It is easier to access. the memory utilization is efficient. Let's say you assign you no there is a marriage, and then families are storing, families are staying in guest house, some families are storing on other side of city, some families are living in like other hotel. So it, don't you think it would be difficult for accessing those family members for any ceremony? Let's say in a city there are five, you have booked two hotels, three hotels, four hotels, 10 hotels, and families are scattered in different hotels. Is it easy for you to access family members for any ceremony? It is very difficult. Okay. So to make things easier, you ask families to live in adjacent rooms. So by doing this, you have utilized the space very well. So it is an efficient memory usage. Whatever algorithm will work, it will algorithm can easily access values. Okay. They can search for a particular data. They can store a particular data, right? They can update any particular data. Okay. So it also simplifies program structures. So there are certain properties related to arrays, like it is a fixed size, means array can only store limited number of values. Homogeneous collection means only same data type of elements can be stored. Indexing is there, start from 0 and last element will be n minus 1, where n is the size of the array. So let's say you have been given a floor of 10 rooms, and if you start counting rooms from 0, the last room number will be 9. Okay. Contiguous means one after the other. Random access means you can access any element randomly without going to sequentially scan the entire set of rooms. Okay. Index out of bounds checking cannot be done. So if you are accessing a room number 10, it is out of bounds because you have only been assigned from index 0 to 9. Right. So this goes for introduction to arrays. So now we come to end of this topic. We'll study the other topics of arrays in the next class. So the learning outcomes for this session is we have studied the types of loops, uh, loop control statements in C, break statements, continue, go to statements. We have done practice problems. Okay, we have done all these topics. If you have got any doubt, you can tell. You can ask any doubt if you have. Okay, if you want to ask any doubt, you can ask. Or let me ask some review questions. Okay, type, you can reply on chat. What are for loops and while loops? Which type of loops are for loops and while loops? Which types of loops are for loops and while loops? Yes. Which types of loops are for loops and while loops? Reply quickly. Don't know the answer. For loop and while loop. They are of the type entry control loop. They are entry control loops. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Happy learning.